As you may know, Corpus Christi has been facing a drought over the past month now, and if rain doesn't come soon, the city says it has a water conservation plan ready to put in place. Our Michelle Pedraza joins us from the new water tower on Holly Road to explain what that plan will mean to you.
Joe, right now the city is not preparing for conservation, but if we don't get rain within the next week, that's where the city could be heading. Sometime this month, the mayor says that the city will initiate the water management plan, which includes only watering before 9 in the morning or after 6 in the evening, only on garbage pickup days. Another plan, if drought conditions continue longer, is to turn to the technology of desalination plants, which is a plant that takes salts and other sediments out of water.
I think reassures the public that what the council has been doing, and I think the Port of Corpus Christi has been doing, is to look at some options that we might be able to address in the foreseeable future that will make sure that we don't have these fluctuations in the supply. And desalination is really a wonderful target if we can make it economical.
The city also has a grant from the Texas Water Development Board to identify some places that might be accessible for water desalination. Their goal is to have a non-interruptible water supply to take a lot of the demand off of lakes and ensure the public has a non-interruptible supply. Reporting from the water plant on Holly Road, Michelle Pedraza, 3 News.